Now, NBA 2K21, you can pick your jerseys, right, of any team, and they basically have every single jersey ever in basketball history, right? But I wish we could pick our courts. Like, yeah, some of the courts are okay, but there's some all-time courts that I really like, and I would love to use them in NBA 2K21 and just pick them whenever I want. ¿Qué pasa to the pack? It is Pack here. In today's video, I'm going to go through every single team, and I'm going to pick one court that I want them to add for that team for NBA 2K22. Now, one thing is that if the court's already in the game, in a historic team or all-time team, then there's no reason to talk about it because it's already in the game. So there's actually some teams that kind of had a struggle with because they've had like 3 courts ever, right? But we'll get there. I want to start off with Philly. So the 76ers, they have a lot of ones that I like that are already in the game, but this one's a little different. It's that current 76ers logo with like the vibes of the early 2000s. This was the 1996 Sixers court with the 50-year anniversary of the NBA right there. It's nice. I kind of don't like how the Sixers look, like the actual spelled out Sixers on the baseline, but besides that, I think this is a pretty good court. Why not add it? For that Milwaukee Bucks, it is a 1977 Mecca Bucks court. I'm sorry. I get why some people might not like this court. Like, I get it, but I love this court. It's so cool. I like it. It's different. It's one of the original courts out there. It's all one color, which like no other team has, right? No, besides like the Nets with their great court. Like, it's cool. It's different. They already kind of had it as an alternate court one time, but I want it permanent in 2K. It's really cool. For the Chicago Bulls, this one was super hard because it went from just like a ring where it said Chicago Bulls on it to the Bulls logo. And this has been their courts like basically forever. But this is the only one that has the Bulls' new logo with a red background instead of a black one. And so I kind of like that, right? So that's different. I like it. It's the only one out there that's like it. I'm down. Now for the Cleveland Cavaliers, one of my favorite jerseys ever is the 1997 Cavs jerseys. This was the 1997 court. It's basically themed off of the jersey, right? Super cool, the black, the logo. It has nothing to do with Cavaliers, obviously, but it just looks cool. I like this one a lot. Beautiful. Oh wait, so for Boston, there's literally none. Like, literally none. I guess you could say the day one ones, but even those are in the game. So, there's nothing. I got nothing for you. Literally nothing. For the Clippers, it's obvious to me, right? The Elton Brand days. It started in 1997, this Clippers court. I love that logo of the Clippers, the white one. It's just super cool. I like that they have like the high school 3 to NBA 3. I like the design of it. I love the colors. I love every single part of this court. Super clean. Okay, for the Grizzlies, it's the 2003 one. This is actually the only Grizzlies court that isn't in the game from my understanding, but it's an underrated one. This is when the Vancouver Grizzlies became the Memphis Grizzlies, and so they were kind of like transitioning away from the logo that they had, and they made a brand new logo at the time that it was like a fist grabbing the basketball with the black background, with the Memphis text, with the original logo on it. I don't know. There's something about it that's just clean. I like it. One of the coolest alternate logos of any team ever. That's a sick logo. Okay, for the Hawks, it is a 1999 Hawks. This is when they were transitioning from their like yellow and red to that new Hawks logo, which they don't use anymore. At the same time, again, 1999 was a special year for the Hawks, or a different year, right? I think it looks super cool. A little different. There's already a lot of the Hawks courts in the game already, but I like this one. For the Miami Heat, this one was pretty hard as well, and I was torn because I didn't know which one I wanted to use. They had one that had like a blue background. This one's cooler though. The Miami Heat from 1990. It is a red background with red paint in the paint, and also the Heat logo. That's just the Heat logo, nothing else around it, and it's the first Heat logo as well. I like it. Super nice, a little different, not super crazy, but it makes sense why they made it the way they did, and it doesn't look bad at all. So there's 2 for the Hornets because technically there was 2 franchises, right? First is the Charlotte Hornets one from the 1997 season. They already had this court as an alternate court, but then it was removed. It's back now. Super awesome court. One of the best courts ever. You can't tell me anything. With the honeycomb in the paint, the gradient on the perimeter, the little like zigzag up to the logo, which is a super cool logo at the time. Super great. Super great court. But they also have the Bobcats court. I just thought the first one, none of the Bobcats court are really that nice, but this one's not bad. Okay, so for the Utah Jazz, they actually had already a lot of the Jazz courts in 2K, but this one's kind of an underrated one. They have the traditional Jazz colors with the purple, gold, and also that green with the Salt Lake City, Utah yellow circle in the middle, the old Utah Jazz purple logo. It's very, it was 1985. It's very 80s, but I think it looks nice. So for the Sacramento Kings, another team that kind of has like all of them, but this Sacramento Kings team of 2011, this was kind of a weird year at the time. This is when Kevin Martin was pretty good on the team. But, you know, I kind of like how the Kings logo is there. I like the black and purple. Not too much to say about it. It's not a bad court. It's just not great, but it's one of the better ones. Okay, so for the New York Knicks, this is the 2000 Knicks. It's one of the only Knicks courts that isn't in the game, but it kind of has a little bit of all the other courts into one. It has the lighter colors of the current generation, but it has that dark black underneath the Knicks logo that was part of the 90s. You have the garden, like the original text, but you have the modern paint, and like, I don't know, it's a lot of, it's basically all the worlds combined into one. It's a historical MSG. I like it. Okay, for the Lakers, believe it or not, there is one Lakers court that is not in the game. It has no Lakers logo at all, but it was the 1967 Lakers, the Forum. It's literally just a Forum. It's the yellow with a little bit of purple lighting or lining, and that's literally it though. That's all they have. But this is the only one I can find that they don't have in the game. Okay, so for the Orlando Magic in 2007, this is basically their like, it's that, see that little Magic ball logo on the bottom? That's their new logo. Their old logo was, it's spelled out as Magic, and this is kind of combining the two. So this is like a middle part of their time is the Magic. That's the only reason. It's the only different court they have. They don't have in this game, so why not? For the Mavericks, they already have this court from 1980, but instead of the paint being like the actual paint under the basket being green, it's blue, and that's the only difference, but it is different, and that's the only one I could find. For the Brooklyn Nets, this was their inaugural Brooklyn Net season. They do not have this court anymore in the game. This is with, you know, like Darren Williams and Brook Lopez. Now, you know, hopefully they can add this one. It's still a nice court. It's one of the cooler courts I've ever seen. It's nice. Okay, so for the Denver Nuggets, only Nuggets court I couldn't find. It does not have the Nuggets logo anywhere, but it has a text on the court. It has like the little checkered wooding pattern, which is nice. Denver, Colorado in the middle. I like the two different lines on the three-point line and the red. You know what? It's not a bad court at all. It's not great, but it's not bad. The Thunder, the only Thunder court that isn't in this game is the OKC Thunder court that they've had forever, but it has a little bit of yellow on it, and that's literally it. For the Pacers, one of the only Pacer courts that's not in the game. It's literally like that old logo where like the dude's literally grabbing a basketball as a P. Indiana Pacers in the circle, yellow and background, and it's alright. It's not a bad one. It's alright. So for the New Orleans Pelicans, the 2013 one, which was their inaugural season, was the only one they don't have. It just doesn't have that giant wing in the wood ingrained, and that's it. But it's still, it's alright. For the Pistons, the 1996 Pistons, very, very rare court that was only around for a little bit. It has a Malice at the Palace logo, which is super cool. They had special Pistons logos that year that were different from like than they ever done it. Different colors than usual. It's honestly a super cool logo. Very different from the traditional what they had, but I still like it a lot. For the Raptors, there's obvious courts to pick. Those courts are already in the game, but in the 1996 season for the Raptors, no, sorry, this is like the 2005 season, I think. They had the 3D Raptors like border thing that soccer does a lot. And the NBA, this is the only team that ever did in the NBA to have the same thing. And at the time, I know you think that's kind of a lame court, but at the time, we thought this was like the craziest shit ever, and we loved it. Okay, so for the Rockets, 1995, you might think this is a ridiculous court. I don't care. I love it. Same thing with the Hornets court. I love courts like this that are just crazy and ridiculous. I love it. Okay, so for the Spurs, 1987 is the only court they don't have, but it's the only court they had that was white, like completely white. San Antonio, Texas, the old Spurs logo is the only court they don't have, and it's, you know what, I actually low-key like it a lot. So for the Suns, it was obvious, the 1996 Suns court, and the moment they can add, the Suns team with Charles Barkley, they can add this court, but until then, this is the best Suns court they've ever had to this day, and I can't wait for them to finally add Charles Barkley in this game and have this court because it is beautiful. Timberwolves, the only one they didn't have was inaugural season 1990. That was the only one I couldn't find. Target Center, the old Wolves logo. Not the greatest court, not the worst court, just meh. For the Portland Trailblazers, kind of a low-key underrated one. The 1994 Trailblazers court with a little bit of white and black, the new logo with the old like touch. The only like one of the last courts that had like that circle. It was like one of the last courts to still have that. I don't know. It's okay. I like how it says Portland on the side. Very different, but still cool. I don't know. I like it. So for the Warriors, the only one they don't have is just the W logo one, the alternate logo. That's the only one they don't have. Why not just add it? And then finally, the Wizards. Not enough bullets courts, and I think this is the best Bullets one out there. The 1971 Wizards, or I guess Bullets court. It has the red outline, red paint, but on top of, I mean, there's no 3-point line, but they can literally just add it. But on top of that, they have like the text Bullets across, just like how the Trailblazers one had it. I think it's cool with the basketball in the middle. I like this one a lot too. Okay, those are the courts that I think they need to add. What about you? Leave it in the comments below. And if you like this channel, please give it a sub. And I'll see you guys next time.